Welcome to this edition of the Tiger Men's Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Scarry. And Coach, the Tigers ventured to South Carolina, first matchup between Towson and the Gamecocks since 1997. And things did not go the way you wanted. And I think the main problem was in the first 7-8 minutes of the game, the Tigers 0 for 10 from three-point range.
Yeah, that never helps. Yeah, we had tough nights shooting the ball, foul line, three-point line. You know, we didn't we got outplayed. Guys are excited to play. Thought we had good days of practice, but they had a lot to do with it. Their front line was good, very good. They dominated the game. I think it was like 48-17 between them. So that was a problem for us, and we just never got in a great rhythm. I think what we've we're coming right off the flight from a couple hours ago. I think the big thing for us right now is we've got a pretty good sense of what NCAA tournament teams look and feel like, and we've got some work to do to get where we aspire to get to.
You look at that game, and again, it looked to me from my amateur eyesight, but that a lot of the threes that we were taking early were open shots. They just weren't falling. And 3 or 4 of them did rim out, so they were close. If you make a few of those, maybe the game takes a different kind of turn.
Yeah, I think as a coach, especially early on, what you're more worried about is that can happen. Certainly guys aren't trying to miss, but when it doesn't go in, how do you avoid some slippage in some other areas? I thought our fouling, we fouled too much. We didn't defensive rebound as well as we're capable of, and those things deteriorate because you don't shoot the ball well, and how do we make sure that happens again, because you get into conference play. If you go down to Charleston, Wilmington, you have a really bad night shooting the ball, you'll probably lose, but there could be lesser teams that if you have a bad night shooting the ball, if you don't clean up some of the other things, you could lose, whereas you hope you get to the point that you can just find a way to get over the hump. And we weren't beating South Carolina last night the way we shot the ball, and they were absolutely ready to play. I was disappointed, probably more like the last 7-8 minutes that we, a little bit similar to St. John's, we just struggled to do some other things to our ability.
One positive, you did have more offensive boards than South Carolina did.
We've been offensive rebounding pretty good, which we normally do. Last night we did a good job of getting to the foul line, so some of those effort things have been good. We've got to convert some of those a little bit better. We will.
All right, Saturday night, TU Arena, 8 o'clock, the return of the Dukes of James Madison. And it's been a few years since the Tigers and the Dukes have matched up since they left to go to the Sun Belt. I do like to remember the last game you ever played against James Madison was their last CAA game ever in their brand new arena, where at one point it was like 48-10 in favor of the Tigers, and you went on to win by about 35 points. I remember at one point you turned and looked at me and just went like this, like, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, we scrimmaged them last year there, and it wasn't 48-10. I can tell you that.
But this is a quality team. They've got 4 guys averaging double digits through their first 3 ball games.
Yeah, they've played a couple good opponents. Preston Spradlin's the new head coach there. He had done a great job at Morehead State. They'll be very good. I mean, they'll be a team that wins the Sun Belt or is right there to win the Sun Belt. So it's a really good opportunity for us. And once we leave this, we've got to spend the rest of the afternoon doing some prep work for them, and then we have a couple days of practice. But they reloaded with some really good transfers. The Brown kid that returns is a terrific player for them. So I can't tell you a ton about them other than we're expecting a good atmosphere and a high level game here Saturday night.
What you can tell us is how did this series come about? I know that it's a home and home. Were you able to put this together?
Well,
with the Dukes?
appreciate JMU playing. We talked to him about getting a home and home going, and he seems like he wants to schedule pretty aggressively, much like ourselves. So I think it's a great series as far as fan and local interest. So yeah, it's the start of a 2-year deal.
All right. So the Tigers and the Dukes, 8 o'clock. Jimmy Patsos and I will have the call for you on Monumental Sports, Flow TV, and TowsonTigers.com. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Scarry, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Men's Basketball Report.